Hi, my goblins and ghoulies, witches and wicked ones. It's Ethony. Welcome back to my channel. And it is my favorite time of the year, the spooky season. And I have got some new spooky decks to show you that have been added to my collection this year. They may not be brand new in the scope of the world of tarot and oracle, but they are brand new to me. So sit back, enjoy, get your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and come and see some of my new spectacular decks and ones that I will be working with this season. Can you believe that it is 10:30 in the morning here in sunny Vancouver? And I say that sarcastically. I have all the lights on and we still have all this shadow. So I do apologize for the light. So the first new spooky Halloween deck that I found is the Modern Gothic Tarot. And I was so excited. I went through a journey with this deck because I was really, really excited and then I was really, really disappointed. And it's because of the pips. And they didn't tell you on the box, because they never do. They didn't tell you that this was going to be a pip deck. They just said complete 78 card tarot deck with a 40-page beginner guide. And the only minor arcana card they have on the back is the Ace of Cups. And I mean, the Ace isn't necessarily the most picturesque of the minors. Anyway, the box, oh my gosh, the box is fine. The box is nice. It's got a little ribbon. I really, really like the silver. I just don't read with pip decks. I'm just not a pip girl. This is sort of the amount of information you get. So it's just a little white book, but in bigger format. And I was so excited about this deck, but there's the backs. The cardstock is, I don't know, it's pretty. This is one of those decks that's not put out by like Llewellyn or US Games. It's by Skittle Dog. So I don't know how much experience I kind of have with decks, but anyway, I was really excited about this deck because of the modern goth appeal. Like, I used to go to goth. There was a goth club in Perth called Sin, and I used to go there with friends. And but then we got to the pips, and I love like that there's bats. Like, that's really cool. But I just don't, this would definitely be something that I would recommend to someone who has studied Marseille or is really working with Marseille, because otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a difficult one. But I really loved the court cards in this. I mean, they're minimal, but they really remind me of, goth scene. And I like that, like, there's eyes on here, but there's lots of moons. It's very similar aesthetic all the way through the minors. Like the backgrounds are very similar. There's like different hand placements and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, it wasn't really for me, which is a shame. Like, I like that these, they have different symbols in them. Because the mages are really cool. And that reminds me of a lot of movies that I watched growing up. The goth scene, I guess, like, wasn't super. Well, I wasn't super hardcore into it, let's just put it that way. So I was a bit of an outlier, but that is such a cool death card. But I did go to clubs and I did have very long black hair. I should try and find a photo of me with long black hair, because honestly, funny. Honestly, when are we going to stop doing this with the chariot? Putting them in a wheelchair, putting a person in a wheelchair. Like, it's, okay, guys, we've done it. We get it. Can we maybe have some, all right, disabilities and other cards too? But I really liked the mages. I didn't mind the borders. I liked the font. But then everything else fell flat for me. So this was a deck that I got. I was really excited.
But I'm probably going to be passing this on to somebody else because I don't think I'll ever be able to work with it. But maybe you love it and it's right up your alley. So that's the Modern Goth Tarot. So this is the Classic Horror Oracle by Ricardo Disegno, and this is a 50-card deck. And this is the first time I've actually looked through this. This is by Chronicle Books. And I've taken it out of the box, but it has this nice little drawer box. Not always the best when you're like me and you tend to drop things. Like I just dropped a bunch of stuff, cards on Apollo's head under the table. So I love this book. Yeah, I don't want to look at too many cards because I haven't seen them, but this is the back. Very the witch movie. And I really, really love like classic movies. I love watching scary movies. Every Halloween, I love that this is the book. Oh, Babadook was so good. And I really, really, really like this a lot. Carrie, like you could tell, Dracula, but I like that it's not called that, right? I like that it's called, this one's called Curse, and this is the Ring. Like I like that it's dance, I like that it's different, deep, and this is Jaws. So it's not necessarily, this is Leatherface and the Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I like that it's different, like dreams with, I think this is fabulous. Out of all the classic kind of tarot and oracle decks I've seen with this aesthetic, I think this is really cool. Alien, Pan's Labyrinth, love it, Hellraiser. So there is a lot that I think this could be really fun. Obviously, you're going to want to read this, at an appropriate place. I mean, some horror movies are meant to be triggering, right? So I think like you would have to pick your place really specifically. So, but I think this is really, really, really cool. The Thing. So yeah, just very fun, like so cute. Love the cardstock. It's matte finish. Feels quite good. Gremlins. So just doing a quick flip through because again, I have not seen this. So this is really, really dope. And I am very keen to get out it. Oh my gosh, The Shining. It took me a second there, guys. Evil Dead. Yeah, so I love this. I think this is fabulous, the Blair Witch Project. So yeah, this is awesome. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this. Now I can have a look at the guidebook. So I love that it almost looks like a VHS tape, cassette tape. I think like the shape of it. For all of my people out there who are old enough to know what a cassette tape is. Okay, so Face. Eyes Without a Face. So that's the name of the movie, directed by Georges Franju, 1960. You're More Beautiful Than Ever. Love this. Upright and reverse and a little bit about it. So this is just Cujo. I just think this is really, really fun. Rosemary's Baby. Who else is excited for the series? We're getting everything. We're getting like Salem's Lot. We're getting, we're getting a Rosemary's Babies. There's so many good ones coming out. I'm so excited. Poltergeist. So this is really, really, really cute. I love this a lot. So this is definitely going to stay in my collection. I would love to know if you've worked with this, but this is the here we go, Classic Horror Oracle, and it is definitely a Halloween. Yes, this is Halloween Town, and it is coming along for the ride. Keeping in this like classic theme, this is the Horror Tarot by Todd Alcott. So it's Todd Alcott's style. He's done comic books and books, paperback books, and I love the look of this faded situation here, like this box. I've already taken the cards out. Now they are bowing already a little bit. I don't know if you can really see that, but I mean, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I hate the backs. You want to know how I feel about writing? I like that it's reversible in a way, I guess, and I like that it's not intrusive, but yeah, I'm not really into it. Yeah, you can see that it's bowing a little bit, see, to the side. Now, really like this. I really like that there are words and text on here, and that they do look like the covers. And this one says here, like, Horror Tarot presents the 18th card in the Major Arcana, the Moon. You know, nothing burns hotter than the sun. This like could be Brightburn. The one thing I will say, I struggle with this. I think this would be a really fun oracle. And like like these are really clever. They're very, very cool. I would probably, like I said, work with it as an oracle or I don't know. There's something about it that I love. I love the art, but I don't know how I feel about it being a working deck, but I have to work with it more. Like I've given it a shuffle and worked with it. The other thing I noticed, because I also have the Pulp Tarot, is there is like one person of color in this entire deck, which is Strength. Bit stereotypical. But if you look through the rest of them, I mean, maybe that person could be a person of color, but if you do look through even the Pulp Tarot, like I was like, whoa, okay, like I love this kaiju so much. But a lot of these are just this like very white, very white 19. I get it's a time. I don't know. I still have a problem with it. Maybe people don't. But there's iconic people in there, obviously, like Shining. Okay, maybe. Oh no, okay, there we go. There's a second person who is of color. But if you keep looking through this, a lot of people, maybe this one's a bit better. I thought maybe it was the Pulp Tarot that had just like one person of color. But I do like the idea of this, right? It's like having a collection of horror books on your counter. And the swords all look like these, which is really cool. So I think I wouldn't use them. I think a full tarot spread with these would be so busy. It might even give me a migraine. But I do think that using these with like a 3-card spread or a 2-card spread or at an event would be very cool. I know these are really popular. I'd love to hear if, I love that one. I'd love to hear if anyone has actually worked with this, like read with it consistently. But again, I would say you'd have to pick your audience. Yeah, it must be the Pulp Tarot I'm thinking about, with the representation being very whitewashed. So yeah, I would have to see, but this is new to me this year. And I'm not sure. It's one of those like, I'm going to keep it and see how I feel about it. But I love everything I love everything spooky, so there is a good chance that I'll keep it. But really don't like the backs. I think the backs would have looked better if it was like more of a worn book. You know, something like that. But that's just me. Like if it's classic tarot, then a classic horror tarot, I think that would look really, really cool. Or even some of these beings with the symbols with their faces, you know, like ghost face or like her, you know, anyway, I would have designed it a bit differently, but that is the Todd Alcott's Horror Tarot. The next deck is the Ancestral Magick Oracle, and this is by Nancy Hendrickson and illustrated by Stacey Williams-Ng, and this is by La Panthiere in Memphis, Tennessee, this studio. So it's an indie deck. It is available, and you even get a little pendulum guide, which is really cool. because by the time this video is out, the cat will be out of the bag. Nancy and I have been working for the last 6 months together to do a course together, well, her course, and for it to be at the Tarot Readers Academy. And it's all on Ancestral Tarot in practice. And this is an oracle deck, but she works a lot with pendulums, and it's available now. And she's done so much. Like, there's a 30+ page workbook. There's lots and lots of amazing stuff. So go check it out. And so this sort of ties into that time of year, right? We're heading into Samhain and all that kind of jazz. So I love, I don't have the box, but it lovingly stays in a little pouch that has something on it. I love the backs. Again, it's just simple pattern. We don't need it to be anything terribly special if we're working with it. And these are in sort of like 2 suits. We have these like archetypes. So strong one, teacher. And it's going to be really fun to use this deck and use it in the course. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I believe it's back in stock, or it's going to be back in stock at La Panthère like really, really soon. So as you can see, it is a collage style deck. And I think that works for ancestral work, right? Because you can put symbols around the archetype that connected to those archetypes or areas of the world that they're in. So I really, really, really love this a lot. And this is a deck that is created by, an independent studio, and, that's so cool. Innocent. So then you come to here like poetry, offering, omen, ritual, spells. So I haven't spent a lot of time, that looks like a Laura spell, sigil, with this deck yet, because I have just been trying to get the course up with a lot of stuff in the background to get it done. But I cannot wait. I've been waiting for the actual course to go live so I can do it together. I have her books, but this will be really fun with ancestor work. And I asked her, like, what about if you don't know anything about your ancestors, or you don't, maybe you have trauma or there's adoptions or whatever. And she said, even better, to work with, because you don't need to know anything about your ancestors to do the work with them. So that's really cool. So the standard tarot size, and like 350 GSM, I want to say. And then the guidebook here will have information, so those 3 keywords. And then if you draw the card, let's see if we can have a look at like beauty here. Okay. And then there's all the pendulum information at the back, and some spreads as well to work with this. So this is going to be a really fun, very useful and purposely created tool for ancestor work, and what a perfect time of year to use it, and a perfect addition this year to my descent, my spooky time, my Halloween time, Samhain time of year. And that's the Ancestral Magic Oracle. Okay, now we have the Darkside Skeleton Tarot, and I somehow missed this on Kickstarter because I guess you're not going to see everything. But this is hand-drawn images by Yuri. I'm probably going to completely butcher this, so I'm not going to say Sokorod, I think, and created by, so it's independent. And this is, I'm going to cover that, but this is actually one of those decks where the QR code on the back actually goes to the creator. So I did a lot of digging when I bought this on Amazon to make sure that I was sending it to the right person. And you can tell because this person's listing on Amazon has photos of the creator, and has like the seller as a creator. Just like with mine, you can tell if the decks are mine because it'll say they're sold by Ethony. But this is so cool. So matte black edges, really cool backs, love. This has got so much detail. I was just like, how did I miss this? It is, look at the detail in this. Now, I'm not one of those people that's very into kind of, and the cardstock is that matte laminated. You can't see your fingers. And it's lovely, thick cardstock, like gorgeous cardstock. But there's like runes in there. So I'm not someone who's like into like, I guess like skeletons as a aesthetic. But look at the detail in this. I was just, and the dot work, I love dot work. My tattoos have dot work and I love black and white dot work. And this has got to be one of the best, I think, skeleton black and white decks I have ever seen all around. Like the quality of the cards, the design, everything is beautiful. Look at just like, oh my gosh. So I had to get it and I was like, well, you know, I don't know what the cardstock is going to be like. I don't know. Yeah. And it just like, look at so we have, oh my gosh, the symbols in there. And I was blown away at how beautiful this deck is. So, I mean, sure, it's going to have its place. But I think this will be one that I'll reach for definitely at events. I mean, and obviously, like, I think this would be a great one to bring out if you're reading for masculine presenting people and men, because, you know, it feels a little bit more macho. And I also wanted to check that this was fully illustrated, right? And it is. So it's Rider-Waite Smith, so you don't have to, but look how the pumpkins are even inside the border there. You don't have to think about it too much, but like the cups are in the border, but everything is done so well. I think this is fabulous and absolutely gorgeous. And as always, like with the information being just like, it makes me happy, which is so weird, but just these skeletons are so well done. Like everything, all of the information, like the octopus, is in the description box. I keep getting distracted. So you can go check it out. But this was reasonably priced too. And this is an independent creator who has probably just spent, I don't even want to know how much time this person spent on these with all the dot work. A long ass time. Let's just put it that way. It'd be really fun to, like, if you were a necromancer in a D&D game or a tabletop game, to have this as your like deck. I think it's really, really fun. I think that might be like my next character, maybe a necromancer who has a deck of tarot cards that they make decisions with. Could get crazy. But look at the detail in that Four of Swords. My gosh. There's more detail in that one Four of Swords than some decks completely that just like phone it in, saying it. Anyway, as you can tell, I love this. It shuffles beautifully. Some of it is in order because I was flipping through it and then I put it directly in this pile to show you all. But, oh yeah, just so cool. I love it anyway. I would love to hear what you think of this one. Look at the knot work in there, like in the armament. I love the wands or these skull stars, like these batons, these wands. And there's like a cave, like a little, just so cool. This is kind of like my morbidity here is coming in with like the skeleton's got a sling. Like it's like, dude, you're dead. But maybe the dead's work is never done. But yeah, like the cat's a skeleton, but the lions aren't. I think this is freaking fabulous. So this is the Darkside Skeleton Tarot And this is by, again, Yuri Sokorod. I think I've said it right. And just amazing. Keeping this in my collection for sure. The next deck has been on my wish list for so long, and it took me forever to get my hands on this because it's always out of stock and my box is dinged because Amazon sucks. But this is the Mother Mort's Carnival of Souls deck. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this for so long. So you get this beautiful box. Now, this is a smaller deck. Really cool admission. But this is meant to be like an experience and a book and everything in one. So it's smaller, but it's an experience. And I don't know if anyone watched Carnival, that show Carnival, but it kind of reminds me of this. I love the burnt kind of color on the back. This is from US Game Systems, and I don't know if it's in stock, guys. I literally found there was one copy in PALS, and I was umming and ahhing, and I didn't, and then I couldn't get it anywhere. So finally, on Amazon.ca, the US Game Systems area had some stock. But you've got two books. There's the guidebook, and then there's this book, which is the storybook of the actual, information. So Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So I'm so excited to read this. I'm not going to ruin it, but it has beautiful hardcover and a ribbon. And then there's the guidebook, which we'll look in a second. And everything is green. So we've got the matte green edges. The backs are gorgeous with these beautiful death moths. Love the back. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm going to be working with this deck, I think, for myself, and if anyone wants a reading with them. But I love that. Oh, I just love it. I love it. I love the palette. And this is definitely going to be the my favorite of Matt Hughes's decks for sure. So they all have gold, that green stamping. And I actually haven't seen all of these cards because I wanted it to be something that I experienced for myself. Look at the Bone Fairy. Like creepy. Crone Mort, but like so cool. Dream Cadaver. Fire Eater. Oh my God. Hoodwinks. So I'm looking forward to reading the book. Roll Up. Kismet, to see this beautiful story. And the Lightbringer. And see how I can use this, because I do like them. I do like anything spooky, creepy. I have never read The Night Circus. I've talked about this before, but the Memento Mori machine. But I feel like this is some sort of like cool, crazy trip. Oh, look at that. It's so creepy. I love Mirror Mary, Mr. Kane, the banker, Molly and Wally, Morrigan. So really beautiful art, obviously. There's Mother Mort. One-Eyed Jack. So very, very excited. I guess this also reminds me a little bit of the Libra Bray books, the Diviners series, which I haven't finished actually, but I loved that series. Sandman. Oh my gosh, the eyeballs. Siren. Oh, love. So very excited to work with this and to read the book. Worm Tongue, that is so cool. But thrilled to finally have this in my collection. Definitely not going anywhere. Love. I got a first edition copy. Yay. And that is Mother Mort's Carnival of Souls. Let me know if you have it. Let me know your thoughts. If you've been reading, if you've read the book, if you've worked with this as an oracle deck and not just sort of like the system within the system. And then you get the backstory for each card and an interpretation. And a little bit about the deck. So I like that it has those two sections, a storybook and a guidebook. So that's this deck, and I'm so glad I finally got it. I'm a huge fan of Monica Knighton, and this Tarot of the Dead is one that I have been wondering whether I was going to keep or not. I got it a little while ago, but I haven't really worked with it. And I have got her, remember these boxes from Llewellyn? Remember the days. I have got the Lost Child Tarot. I have the mini, like the original hand-painted sort of limited edition Majors Only Lost Child Tarot. So I love her work. And this is the reason why I've kept it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this an actual proper crack. So they're not a standard size tarot deck. Let me see if I can grab one from my drawer here. So they are, you know, shorter and wider, which is, I mean, I guess that's no big thing. So let's see if I can grab one here. So they're shorter and wider. I have a feeling these are either being reprinted, so you probably wouldn't get this edition from Llewellyn, but I think this is still available. So we've got a couple of spreads here. And the artwork is gorgeous. The backs have this Harlequin design, reversible. The cardstock is, I'm not a cardstock snob when it comes to like Llewellyn and US games. I think they're pretty good. So we have 2 titles, Spanish and English, and they're so beautiful. And they are modern-esque, but also still Rider-Waite. So I'm like, every time I go to, I love that Wheel of Fortune. Every time I go to like rehome this, something stops me. Now here you can see strength is 11 and justice is 8, but I mean, that's fine. I just switch it. And of course, 13 doesn't have the title. But yeah, I don't know. I find it so hard to decide with this deck because it's so cool. My old lady wrists. So then we get the reels. And this is when we hit Pip Town. And that's fine because I knew it was a Pip deck. You could see clearly on the box. So then we get to, let's have a look, page. And the pages, the court cards are also Pip-esque. So more like the playing card, right? And again, was designed this way. And it's also the pistols I have a problem with. Don't like guns. It's not my culture. Love the coffins though. I think the coffins are so cool. It's definitely, yeah, the pistols aren't my culture. I don't like guns at all. So that's yet another thing. But I also understand that maybe I'm not the target audience for this. You know, it's not my thing. And I love the pens. So I keep going back and forth on this. But it is beautiful. And if you feel drawn to it and you feel as though this could be something that you would want to work with your ancestors, her decks are always so worth it. So both, it just flips. So we have the Spanish and the English. And then, you know, some information there. Anyway, I don't know. Keep going back and forth on this, babes. But this is the Tarot of the Dead, and I thought I would bring it out and work with it this spooky season and see how I go. Probably one of the coolest boxes I have seen in a deck in ages. This is the Memento Mori Tarot, and I got this at a Spencer's of all places. Didn't even know what a Spencer's was. It's just it's a naughty hot topic, but look how cool this box is. And it's fully illustrated all the way through, which I love. So, like, how cool is that? dope fucking box. If I can get the cards out without knocking everything down. So the box is really fucking wicked. The backs are really cool as well. Now, it comes with no guidebook. It's just a deck. I love the backs. It's really simple. It's a standard size, laminate, but you can see my fingerprints on there. But it's actually, quite well done. Now, this I think is really cool. And it's going to compete with the Darkside Tarot, but this is in colour and it is Rider-Waite Briskellies and a different kind of pattern of colour palette. And we have 2 titles. But what's really funny is like some of the people have skeletons and some of them don't. It's like sometimes I forgot. There's one card in particular that I guess it was meant to be that way because not everyone does. But if I can find it, I'll show you. So this would be such an easy if you wanted to work with a sort of a skeleton-esque tarot. Because it's just like, it's the Rider-Waite Smith. It's super, super easy to read with. And would be very, very accessible. So it would be very fun at events and at themed places. Like this one is like, these 2 have skeletons, but this one doesn't. Like that was like, was that on purpose? But I'm probably overthinking it considering they probably gave it to a graphic designer and spent like hardly any money on getting them to change the images. So I'm probably overthinking it. But there's a couple of cards like that where half of the skull is one thing and half of it's another. It's pretty funny. But I do love the muted tones. Oh my gosh, some of these are stuck together. Some of the, I love the muted tones. I like that it's kind of this definite like Halloween-y experience. So like I said, out of a lot of the decks that I've found for the Halloween season, this is actually pretty reasonable. And I stopped going through it because I wanted to put it in this pile. But look at I like how the skeleton is the pillow. There's some floating heads. Where did you come from? But as you can see, like reading with this would be so easy, right? Just super, super, super easy to take this to a Halloween event or to show people around this time of year, and it would be very simple to transfer your information. And this was one too where it's like this person hasn't got skeletons, but again, overthinking it probably. Like, I love that color. Have you guys seen this before? I'd love to hear if you have seen this deck before, because I had not. But a fun novelty deck that I actually think is usable. And there's no numbers on them. So if you swap your justice, or if justice for you is 8 and not 11, then easy squeezy, like no problem. Like I said, no guidebook. The cardstock is nothing special, but for a pretty cheap Halloween deck that is accessible and easy to read, can't go wrong, I don't think. So this is the Memento Mori Tarot by Spencer's. Crazy what you'll find out there. Okay, my last newbie is the Call of the Morrigan Oracle, and I am so thrilled. This is by Naomi Cornock. I have her other decks that I bought from her website. I think it's the Oracle of the Old Ways, and I love her artwork. And this is published by Llewellyn, and I was thrilled when I saw that one of her decks was going to be mass-produced. Created and written the guidebook by Stephanie Woodfield and Karen Storminger. And this is a 45-card oracle. It's brand new, So like literally just sort of arrived. So now this is going to either like piss everyone off or they're going to really love it. So it comes in this flip box, and I have a feeling that you can actually like put your cards in this little section. I take all of my stuff out of their boxes and put them in my working drawers for the time that I work with them. So it's not really a big deal to me. And the book is like this. So we're going to have a look at the book after the cards. Now the cards, these are the backs, and they are big. So this is standard tarot size, but with her artwork, I would want it to be larger. And most publishers do have their oracle cards a little bigger, but her artwork deserves to have this stunning large format. And look at her art is stunning. So we have this, I mean, obviously Morrigan is a warrior goddess, a goddess of war. And I love the color palette that has been chosen. The detail in her artwork is sublime. Like this is really going to take some invitation to explore. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I feel like this is going to be one that I want to work with myself before I work with anybody else. Because as I'm looking through this for the first time, I'm getting a very strong call from my guides and myself, like my inner self, that this is something to work with, because yeah, there's just some stuff here for me, clearly, because I'm getting a little emotional. Look at this artwork. I mean, come on. Oh, perfect deck for this time of year, for winter, and to move through this space. And I love, the warrior archetype, having Athena as my matron goddess, and my ancestry is Celtic. It's a Irish, mostly Irish when you start going back. So this is probably why I'm being very called to work with it. Look at this. I'm taking my time. Sorry, guys. This is probably going to be the longest one, but oh, my goodness. It is stunning. It's a beautiful matte lamination, that smooth, like the cardstock is gorgeous. So whoever chose this at Llewellyn, well fucking done. You did a good job. But see how you wouldn't want this to be any smaller, because you would miss all of this incredible artwork. Oh, stop. Fucking beautiful. I feel like this would work as a really lovely sister to the Druidcraft Tarot, and also the Druid Animal Oracle. So now we just have to pray that she does a tarot deck so that we could use those. I'd put them as sister tarot decks and sister oracle decks, but they're pairing them up with the Druidcraft or the Druid Animal would be dope. Or the Wildwood, if that's your jam, but I'm definitely a Druidcraft girl, as you all know. Victory, yeah, I mean, he's certainly dead. Peace, beautiful. Her art is so stunning. Oh, there's some tough stuff in this, and it's really cool that there's some tough stuff in this. Like there is a story, deep story with, I mean, some of these are like, that there's a deep story because of the myths, but there's a real welcoming or a diving into these stories of these cards. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so this is the book. And then we have keywords and then a bit about the actual myth. And then there's actually even notations down there. Love that. And then the divinatory meaning and then a spell for strength. That's really cool. So this is the shapeshifter one. And then, yeah, so there's spells for each one, which is really cool. And there's some suggested reading at the back. Very, very cool. Online resources. And then at the front, there's using the cards. Look at that, mental preparation, otherworldly guides, the suits. Yeah. So this is definitely going on my to work with immediately in my drawers. I'm going to put it in straight after this. But that's the Call of the Morrigan. Wowee. And Naomi, you have done a stunning job on this art. And this was done by Llewellyn. Oh, love it. Chef's kiss. Perfect.
Do you have any of the decks that I shared today in your collection, and do you work with any of them? I would love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Remember that comments and likes matter so much when it comes to running a channel. It's completely free and it takes 2 seconds. And if you have any new spooky decks or videos where you were sharing your new spooky decks, drop your links. I love discovering new spooky, Halloween themed, whatever, fall themed decks. So please let me know in the comments because I will go watch them. I will go check out stores, all that kind of stuff. So I will see you all fantastic fiends next time.